right, we ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh!
Woof.
Hey everybody, back with a brand new Late to the Murder Party, and we are fucking deep right now into it. I'd say we're like right at the center of no, not summer. That's right, it's not summer anymore. It's the fall of the hunt.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's technically still summer when we're recording this, and the heat stroke is real.
Very, very real. But yeah,
Sweat
no,
in
this is
the
coming out
sweat.
for in time for fall. So I give up. I can never time anything right. So the tradition of the show been going strong for 7 fucking years.
Wouldn't be the same without it.
Yeah. With me are my multitude of co-hosts. We have the lovely Xeiren.
Hello.
The equally as lovely Graveturtle right here on my side.
Hello.
The Belgian in Wolf's Clothing, Varren Kimbold.
Alright, let's see. We got a little richer. We got Hollies. We got CCR. Don't mind me. I'm just putting this Vietnam playlist together that somehow still need to be included in this movie.
Right. The awesome Wolfman Roy.
West side, the best side, yo.
And his cohort, the chaotic Doc himself.
So, we sick of this franchise yet?
No. So, today we are talking. God, so we've watched the Alien movies. We've watched the vast majority of the Alien movies. We've watched, interestingly enough, so far the vast majority of the Predator movies. By this point, we have gone through AVP and its Requiem. And yeah, so now we turn to the world of Strictly Predator with 2010's Predators. This film has an interesting history.
All the way back to the 90s.
Yeah,
Yes.
ever since Predator 2, they've been trying to make this one.
Oh yeah. Rodriguez had this script in his pocket ever since then. Couldn't get it sold at the time. And then eventually they were like, hey, that script you got? Yeah, work a little bit on it and then maybe we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
This is, and you can tell, you can see all the rewrites. You can see every single one of them.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to say this right out the gate. I don't hate this film.
No, I don't. I don't hate it at all. I just think it's a bit too beholden to the original.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit middling,
Like,
honestly.
It's... No.
I mean,
Like there's quite a few good ideas in this movie. It's just they never get properly developed. That's the problem.
well, it's like the sitcom of like franchises. You have all these characters who you don't really get to know them along, beyond the type that they're assigned.
mm-hmm.
The type of hunter they're assigned, the type of character they are. They're all stereotypes, and they kind of live up to that stereotype. But that's not necessarily a bad thing for these kinds of movies.
Yeah,
True.
but it is definitely telling that maybe only 4 characters are actually named on screen. The only time you find like the names of the other characters either through the subtitles or looking them up.
Yeah. I will say that before we get into this film, if I were to rank it, I would say it goes Predator 2, Predator 1, and then this film. So and I know,
from top to
shocker.
bottom, okay.
Yeah, Predator 2. Predator 2, like we've already talked about this because we've already reviewed it by this point, but Predator 2 is my favorite. Predator 2 to me is like, it takes everything from the first one, like makes it a little sleeker, and it just gets I don't know, something about that story is just so good. I love Predator 2.
Call Predator 2 sleeker, but it's definitely more grimy.
Grimy. Streamlined. Streamlined. That was the words I was looking for. Streamlined.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Streamlined. It like, streamlines it.
Oh, okay, I get that. It's just like, I wouldn't necessarily call it, like.
Oh, it's grittier. Tell me, yeah, it's grittier.
Yeah, it's more over the top than you get in a jungle setting.
And then,
but it works.
Like, it does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't set the credits to the Full House theme, so 2 out of 10.
As Doc's icon covers Roy's face.
It still has the sitcom stereotype, so it's got that going for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once you figure out what they are, you know exactly what that character's arc is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I mentioned that this... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I say that. Like, oh yeah, it goes Predator 2, Predator 1, and then this. That's not a bad thing. That's not a knock towards this. As the third best Predator movie, it's fine. It's a nice popcorn flick to me. I love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't turn it off if it was on. Like, I wouldn't change the channel. I'd watch it.
Yeah, because when you said there that, Predator 2 is like one of you were like more favorite ones, that it is still very funny that like when they set out to make this movie, like the notes were like, no, you only take your cues from the original movie. You don't look at Predator 2, you don't look at like AVP or anything like that. The only thing you get to see is Predator.
Yeah.
So like they took all their design cues from that, they took all their fucking scene cues from that, and boy can you tell in this fucking movie.
Which then the fact that I find Predator to be second to the sequel kind of is telling at that point. It's like, oh yeah, you chose from the second best.
Now, of course, first movie is always going to be the more iconic one. It's the one that's quoted the most. So, like, I get what Rodriguez was doing when he was going for this sequel. Like, I get his mentality. As I said, it's just you hold on to the first movie a little too much, and it kind of becomes a crutch near the end.
Oh, very much so. Even in the way that the ending is presented, I'm like, yeah, it's straight up
hell. Even although it was funny that at one point he had figured to have cameos from Arnold and from Danny Glover's character from Predator 2 as well coming in.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You can tell where the rewrites happened again, because initially, they wanted to have, from what I remember, I think Fishburne's character went through 2 iterations. Is what I had to remember reading about, was that he was supposed to have been initially Dutch.
Yeah, he was supposed to be Arnold's character.
And then they went, no. And then they're like, oh, well, why don't we get, like, Danny's character? I would like to think they all went, he's been through enough. Leave him alone. Not just Danny, but just his fucking character. By the end of that movie, I'm like, give that guy a break. He's good. He's done. So
that motherfucker has earned his goddamn retirement.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. So that was.
He won a trip to go on a fishing trip with Joe Pesci. That's how I want to leave him.
Fucking hell, Roy. Don't bring gone fishing into this.
So, yeah.
Anyway.
So then there's that. And then I know the ending was changed because originally they were going to have Dutch show up and be like, okay, now the real hunt begins. And or like the real test begins. I'm like, yeah, that would have been interesting, but they didn't need to.
No.
So the movie stands on its own, I feel. It can.
But anyway, let's talk about what the movie is actually about.
Yeah, so our unfortunate hunters of different types are they wake up midair on coming down onto a fucking alien planet.
Whee!
You remember that dream you have where it feels like you're falling out of the sky?
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
should
this
hit the
is real
ground.
life.
Yeah, make sure you pull the chute.
Yeah. Yeah, we see what happens. We see what happens if you don't.
You better make sure you get your parachute out, otherwise,
Yeah.
big smear on the ground.
Which had me curious. I'm like, oh yeah, like that was one of those things where I'm like, wonder what that guy's story was.
Yeah,
Although
what role was he
that is
gonna
now
fulfill?
reminding me. That is now giving me a funny idea. I was like, oh, you remember if like, just think if Hicks was in this movie. Is like he would have just fallen through. He would just slept through the entire thing and then fallen down to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this. Yeah. So we get all that set up. Our characters slowly get introduced. We have a
Who's
handful
who of character actors? I'll give it that.
Oh
A lot
yeah.
of character actors, yes.
So yeah, we have the one lone female, Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
We have our fucking fucking stereotyped at this point. Walton Goggins' Stans, the fucking murderer on death row.
Murder rapist. That is a
Murder
very important
rapist,
detail.
yeah. We have our Russian Nikolai.
Who uses an American machine gun.
Yes.
Yep. We have
Dismember berries.
Cuchillo, played by Danny Trejo. Our
Which that is still a very
cartel member.
There's a very funny story about how Danny actually got cast. So
I want to hear this. Yeah.
yeah, so in the scripts, like Rodriguez had written that this character was a Danny Trejo looking type of guy. So Danny found out about this. He called Robert and said, "Hey, I heard you're looking for a Danny Trejo looking character, and hey, I look like Danny Trejo." And boom, he was in the movie.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Damn. All right. We have Hanzo, our yakuza.
We always need a yakuza.
We have Mombasa, played by I can never, and I hit. Oh God, yeah.
Mashallah Ali, yeah.
Mashallah Ali.
And this is and it gives the full oh Jesus, and it ends with a Z.
Mashallah Ali, yeah.
But do I even try?
Do it.
Maybe skip this one.
Ow.
You just want me to embarrass myself.
Hey, listen.
We don't need you to do that more.
It can't be worse. It can't be worse than him being in the Blade movie.
If that ever comes out.
Then we have our oddball with Edwin, played by Topher Grace, which we'll get into. And then this ragtag team is led by Royce, played by Adrian Brody.
Who's squinting really, really hard. And
Although I
talking
will-
with a rugged, whispery voice.
Although I will say, like, I actually quite like Adrian as our main guy.
I think he's perfectly fine.
I disagree. I find him way too boring.
I think he tries a little bit too hard.
Like
Oh,
the
is
best
he-
I can say in a word of his performance.
Like he's definitely like putting the rough on real hard. But I still think like for what his character is, he served his purpose perfectly fine.
Also, I see you tried to do a snoring sound, but your mic cut you out, thankfully.
Go out. Thank you.
Oh,
The
dear.
problem is that in this case, yeah, he might be fine, but there was a lot more interesting characters around him, and I'm like, I wish we were following them and not this guy.
That is kind of an issue.
Yes.
Because there is, like, a lot of the other characters, yeah, they are more interesting to me. I want to know their backstories. Him, I'm just like, okay, if I learn it, I learn it.
He's just a random white guy.
I didn't feel like that at all when watching the movie. I felt like we were really more so following the entire team
Mm-hmm.
the entire time, because well, a lot of focus does get put on him. I felt like it equally gave focus to, I'm blanking on her name.
Isabel.
Isabel.
Yeah.
Like, you get about as equal focus on Isabel, and frankly, the thing that's dragging the entire crew along is the fact that you have essentially these two people who are equally capable in skill.
Mm-hmm.
One is just more on the up and up morally than the other.
Yes.
And unfortunately, in order to get out of this, these two need to rely on each other the most
Yep.
to get everyone else out. And it's their bickering that causes a lot of decisions to be made that lead to a shit ton of the deaths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Isabel was basically the one who got them all to stick together and thus survive as long as they did, because otherwise everyone else would just kind of have gone in separate directions.
Oh yeah, Royce would have fucked off so much faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had she not been like, hey, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's like Royce had the knowledge to assess the situation. Isabel had the smarts to keep everyone together and actually give them a fighting chance by doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, half the time I was waiting for Royce to be like, I hate profilers, you know that?
Yeah.
Just right in Isabel's face. like, quit reading me. I hate being seen. This is why I do this shit. Why are you doing this to me? Like, she really forces him to, like, examine himself and be like, okay, I get it. You got these big-ass chips on your shoulder. You're kind of fucked in the head. Guess what? You're gonna need to prioritize more people than just yourself to get the fuck out of this.
War is hell.
And yeah, so all these people get dropped onto what you presume at first is Earth, but then you find out real quick it's an alien planet that the Predators use as their hunting grounds for their...
With huge moons!
With huge moons and a really fucked up time schedule because, God, that sun moves slow. And they realize real quick, like, oh shit, you know, we've been dropped here for some kind of hunting competition that these motherfuckers do. And it's literally just this group of human predators trying to survive a group of alien predators, of which
you get the title? Do you get it?
The Predators!
Yeah, like that's exactly how it gets name dropped, is they don't say the aliens are predators, they say, we are predators, that's why we are here. And I thought that was pretty cute. It probably came across a little less cheesy back when this was first released.
Yeah.
But oh god, and in retrospect, I'm just like, okay, that was pretty cheesy, guys. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think, Grave, you sound like you were trying to say something.
Honestly, no, I was just making
I
a
said
joke.
Grave.
It's about as stuff.
Grave.
Is your name Grave? Is your name Grave?
I want to be in the grave. Does that count?
I can help you. We will do that later. No, we won't. This cannot be used as evidence.
Too late.
Okay, go ahead, Grave.
In a way, this movie is Predator versus Predator, because not only do you have, like, people predators versus predators, you have actual predators versus predators.
Yep. Yeah, bringing up... Oh, I love that.
That was honestly the thing I felt was the most unnecessary bullshit of the entire movie. It's like, why do we need two types of predators? You could have just had multiple factions competing with each other. You didn't need to have an entire overhaul in design.
We need to establish
like,
this new we need to establish this new predator is this extra tough.
So,
like seriously,
that's
that
a thing
that to
from-
me just that to me just screamed of new merchandising opportunities. Come on, guys, more
So-
figures.
So yes
Like,
and no.
that's-
Yes and no. Because that had already been established in the expanded universe of like the Predator stuff, like in the novelizations and stuff.
I believe you, but at the same time, if you're only following the movies, that's what it screams at
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, this was his way of bringing that in. And I
And I'm
actually
just-
kind of agree to
and-
that.
And I just feel like in the movie, it doesn't feel like a very smoothly handled thing.
Oh no, it's
but
not explained at all.
That's just I just feel like that part
Right.
was like it did not need to be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It felt very superfluous in the movie. That's one of my little gripes. The biggest gripe I have in the movie has to do with the goddamn Chekhov's neurotoxin.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh,
We'll get to that. We will get to that. But,
oh my god, I'm still mad.
For
I'm
those,
still so mad.
I do want to share for those who aren't aware, who don't read the books and stuff like that. It has been established. First of all, Varren, do you actually know the name of the species that Predator is?
Yowcha.
There we go. So the Yakuza, they have a bit of a blood feud going on in between themselves. There's an honor code that unfortunately some of them don't like to follow, and that's what we saw here. Is you do not hunt your own. On top of that, the predators, the regular ones that we see, the smaller ones, don't do this. They don't just gather people like this. And gather like to hunt like that. They go and hunt in the territory. They do not have these grounds like that. That's why this happened. Because that's a thing that the bigger, like the ones that are like, no, fuck you, fuck your honor, and fuck your bullshit. I just want to hunt to hunt.
It's the difference between a soldier versus a gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really a good way of thinking about it. It's like, do they both fight? Yes. Do they both kill people? Yes. One does it for spectacle and glory, the other one does it to actually strengthen their skill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, granted, when it comes to the Predator timeline and shit, that shit is so flexible and gets shit added and removed all
True.
the goddamn time. Where it's just like you can't keep track of this shit. You just gotta go along with whatever the fuck is happening and see if it makes sense to you or not.
I mean, it's the same with the xenomorphs. I mean,
Yeah, like,
the Alien
none of these
expanded
franchises
universe.
can keep their
Jesus.
none of these franchises can keep their shit straight. So it doesn't at this point. It doesn't fucking matter. Like we'll see what happens. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, bleh.
I mean, we've had human hybrids of xenomorphs and shit like that, which we kind of saw in one movie, but yes and no.
Kinda, sorta, not really.
Yeah, we've seen it done differently, done better in books.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's also like, fucking as with the Predator 2 novelization, where they,
But it's
they said,
also
like,
same
the humans
Predator.
are, where the humans are seen like the ultimate prey in the universe, but then of course that gets retconned with the xenomorphs and such. So
Yeah.
All the same though, with all this like expanded universe stuff that we're kind of bringing up for the Predator franchise, this movie actually stands alone surprisingly well.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you need to watch and enjoy the film is included in the film.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
If this was the first Predator film you ever saw, you could see, understand it, and enjoy it because it's a very self-contained story.
Yeah, perfectly.
Well, and that's one of the things, like, when Varren and I were talking immediately after watching it, like, he got on his whole, the fact it references the first movie a lot, and it kind of bothers him. And I'm like, yeah, but think about when this came out. Like, you had Predator 1 and Predator 2. and then they write this script in the middle of the 90s, and it starts out as something completely different. And then so much time goes by, and it goes through so much development hell, that by the time they release this, which was what, 2010?
2010,
yes.
2010? So it's like you've had 15, if not close to 20 years go by since the first film, the one it's being so referential to. And it's like you've literally had an entire generation of people grow since then.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it does kind of rinse, lather, repeat a lot, I just go, it's like if this was your first Predator movie because you were literally, too young or didn't exist when the first one came out,
Mm-hmm.
like it's a solid first Predator movie. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm not disputing that fact at all.
yeah, and it was just one of those things where it's like, in the context of the time it was released, I think it's great. If you're somebody who's going back and rewatching them like we are, it's like, okay, that feels a little heavy-handed. Jesus Christ, guys! But it's one of those. It's just one of those things. On its own, it's great. Within the series, it's kind of rickety in places, and it shows.
Yeah.
Well,
because like I've seen interviews of director Nimrod. It's so funny to me actually. This is his fucking name. But like Nimrod and Robert, like when they were doing interviews, like they set out where it's like, yeah, no, like if this is your first Predator experience, like it'll be a good introduction for you, and then like and they said it's like if you're experienced with Predator, like you'll notice little touches here and there, you might get a laugh out of it. It's like to certain degrees, yes. But...
To me, it's kind of like what we're seeing now, like literally now, with the upcoming Romulus, with the new Alien movie. Watching the trailer, I'm seeing a lot of callbacks to the first one. I'm seeing a lot of that, but it's also trying to like up it to like, oh, but it's going to be like fast paced. It's going to be insane. It's going to be more to the standards of today.
No.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. Like I said, these are just
Not the B standards, Roy.
No.
We're talking filming standards, not not in the we just want to get asses in seats. No, this is clearly made by somebody who gives a shit about Alien. So we'll see what happens. But so yeah, back to the movie. Yeah, so we have our gang together. We have bunch of moments of them trying to figure things out. And we have some very interesting moments with Edwin, Topher Grace's character. So our first loss is Machete. I will always just see Machete. It's just not.
I mean, funny enough, he is also named after another knife. In this movie, so.
Kachila, yeah, of course. So yeah, he's our first one to go. Yeah.
Well, not only the first one to go, the first one to be used as bait.
Yep, he is used as bait. Yep. Yeah, with a really messed up moment where he's yelling. He's sitting in the field. He's just laying there, and he's like yelling for help. And they're all like, "No, we need to go. This is a trap." But she, Isabella, has a conscience, and she goes to put a bullet in him to put him out of his misery. Nailed him too, like right between the eyes, like from the back of the skull. He's dead, and he's still screaming for help.
It was a recording the whole time.
Yup. So she gets the fuck out of there. They all get the fuck out of there.
Yep. Like stumbling also on a whole bunch of other traps, which was also supposed to be originally a callback to like, oh, maybe Dutch is here.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. You have She does bring up the fact that, like... Oh, wait, is that later when she does it? I think it's later where she finally...
that's way later where she brings up the Dutch stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we eventually, they move along. We learn a little bit more about our characters. We have
They stumble onto the predator camp.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Although first...
They actually get attacked by the dogs, that's right.
Edwin shows off his knowledge of poisons. Let's neurotoxins and stuff. Let's just talk about that for a second. Yeah.
Oh my god. Can I just...
We're all over the place, so go right ahead.
Okay. So they're trudging along. They're figuring out really quick that they're not on Earth anymore. They're on some alien planet. They lose Machete. They get attacked by dog. They bump across this weird ass plant. And here's the thing about Edwin is, like, everybody else looks like a soldier or a criminal or some kind of roughneck motherfucker. Edwin looks like a college student in a fucking hoodie. And you're like, what is this guy doing here? You're trying to figure it out.
He just says
the entire time because he just looks wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He just looks wrong, and it's like you hear him say like, "Oh yeah, I'm wicked smart. I'm this. I'm that," and you're just like, "Then why do you just look like some fuckwit off the street?" Like it just feels like a weird choice. And then they come across this plant, and he's like, "Oh look, don't touch that because this is a deadly plant. It's got neurotoxins in it," and you're like. This is before they figure out they're on an alien planet. I'm like, okay, so you know what this plant is. You know it's got neurotoxins in it. But then you figure out you're on an alien planet. Nobody who interacts with him over the plant, once they figure out they're on an alien planet, says shit. And I'm like, movie, why did you do that? Why did you do that? That like the entire time. Ever since that plant, I'm like screaming at Varren, like, that they're not going to explain it, are they? He's like, I don't think they are. So and I'm like, God damn it! And then I'm like, and then I start coming up with all these explanations.
I have a theory
for possibilities while we're talking about it, and I'm like, so what? We're just supposed to buy that he knows, botany from an alien planet, or the fact that we're just supposed to put together. That they transplant plants from other places onto this planet as a means of weaponry. And I'm just like, okay, the second one sounds more plausible, but at the same time, I'm just like, movie, you're not explaining yourself well. But then again...
That whole thing was supposed to be an indication of, because it's supposed to be a prehistoric plant from Earth, it was supposed to be an indication of how long they've been doing this stuff.
Yeah, but this is at the same time the way they go about it is really fucking sloppy. And then I'm just sitting here like they focus so hard on that little pocket knife with the neurotoxin dripping off of it. And I'm like, well, there's our Chekhov's gun. We know something's gonna happen with that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I will say as the movie goes on, like they finally get to Lawrence Fishburne's character, which again blanking on his name. Like that's the thing about these characters is like they're more memorable as caricatures than characters.
Ronald Noland.
Yeah, and which honestly I must say, best and worst decision when it comes to this movie, because like. Lawrence comes in, he steals the fucking movie, but because of the temporary nature of his character, it's just like, great, how is everybody else in this movie supposed to live up to that?
Yeah.
and it's very funny.
It's kind of a hard act to follow.
Because they come across him and you're like, okay, a survivor. Yes, he's going to be so smart. He's going to help them out. And then you get to his little hideout and you're like, oh God, he's batshit insane. Like, the only reason he has survived is because he has let hallucinations allow him to survive all on his own. This spells bad news. Yeah. Bad news bears all over the place. And then sure as shit, as he's just gained this group's confidence and they feel like they can take a long rest a la D&D, he tries to smoke them out like salmon in a box. It's like, no. We can't have these guys around. He's talking to his imaginary friend the entire time, which for some reason in my head I kept envisioning was Dutch. The entire time.
I could see that.
Well, because here's my pet theory. Lawrence's character was actually somebody who trained under Dutch when Dutch was in that phase of like, well, I'm not going to be able to go out there and fight anymore. I'm too traumatized. They're like, well, I mean, you can be like a sergeant and we'll like let you train other people. It's like, I have this little headcanon that Lawrence was one of his like star pupils.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is a possible connection to another movie Lawrence was in. It's a very strenuous connection, but it's like it's kind of funny.
It's a very, very like
because
early movie.
He references that he was in the Vietnam fucking evac thing, and he comes right to the Valkyries.
Yeah, that's true.
He was also in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
true. and so
let's make that canon to this universe now.
and so like before like they get smoked out of there, a couple things happen with Edwin that just make me go, well, that's suspicious. It's like he tries cozying up to the raper murderess, what?
The murder rapist.
The murder rapist.
It's interchangeable.
The raper murderist. I like that word.
Oh my god.
The murderist.
The murderist. He tries cozying up to him first and realizes that's a bad idea. And you can tell he's like trying to size people up in the group because the next person he moves on to is like the Russian soldier. And you're just like, okay, that's only a slight upgrade. Why are you working from the bottom up, sir? Why are you trying to ingratiate yourself like this? This is not how normal people do this.
Yeah.
And then like he kind of bonds with the Russian guy. Like, oh yeah, I've got kids and stuff. And it's like, oh cool, can I see the picture? And then he never gives the picture back because all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, we're being smoked out of the tuna can. And he goes along like and gets himself in a spot. The Russian guy saves him, but then when the Russian guy gets in a spot, Edwin doesn't save him. And you're just like, what, Edwin, what the fuck are you up to, man? Like, just you say shit and then you do the opposite. And you're just this fuckwad in a hoodie, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and my brain's like, oh no, he's a sociopath. I'm putting it together all of a sudden.
The thing, and the one time where I'll be like, you know what, I can back him in his mindset, is with the Russian. Because there was no saving him at that point. What the fuck would Edwin have done in that situation?
Oh no, I agree. There wasn't much he could do.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that he gives him that look of like, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it's the look. Yeah.
It's the look. It's the whole like, yeah, you actually like risked yourself for me. I'm not risking myself for you.
Yeah.
And it's you could see like the dismay in the Russian guy's eyes of like, oh, you bastard.
Yeah.
And it's like they get out of the freaking bunker where they were resting up, and then they have to figure out how to get off the planet. They realize there's a ship. They have to go back to the Predator camp. And well, that's when the shit really hits the fucking fan.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do want to talk about some of my favorite fucking kills, though, real quick, before we get to that. Oh my god. Okay. So, yeah, they had lost, what's his name?
What's his name?
Okay, give me a second. Mombasa. Mombasa's death was, woo. That was brutal. And that was getting like he got fucking speared. Spear trap.
Yeah.
Spear. Okay, stop.
Spear.
Spear. So there's that. The Russian dude manages to. He blows himself.
One more. He got spirited away.
God damn it.
Da, 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 da.
Da. Yeah,
You leave. No.
there's the Russian dude who, at least when he goes out, the way he goes out is fantastic.
Kaboom!
Yeah. He's like, fuck you then. Takes him out.
That's how we get rid of Tusky.
Yeah. Oh god. So Stans. Jesus Christ, the kill on this guy. Classic.
Yeah.
Fucking okay. That was straight up like. I know we've
Straight up
seen
Mortal
him.
Kombat.
Yeah, that was like Sub-Zero spine ripped a motherfucker. Ripped his skull straight out of it. Like you know, if they had been able to if they had been able to be more brutal with that effect, it would have been like the fucking face falling off of the skull.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that whole scene has felt very Mortal Kombat. It's like he pulls the spine out, and you just hear in your head, like, "Finish him."
Fatality.
Fatality.
Flawless victory. Yeah, that.
Flawless. I mean.
Oh well, no, he
that
stabbed him a few
was-
times. It didn't do jack shit.
Yeah.
He fucking shanked him. It's like, oh yeah, you shanked a predator. Whoop-de fucking do. Like, but yeah, even he's just like, bring it, bitch. I feel like he knows he's dead. There's nothing he can do.
But he
goes,
try to take him out.
yeah, he's like, come on, bring it. Fucking do your worst. And then it does its worst. It was- yeah.
Just fine now.
Yeah, no, if you've ever seen, which we've talked about, the, Scorpion's Revenge, when he fucking skull rips out, Goro, the fucking face flap just... So yeah, that was a good one. Lawrence just gets fucking blown to bits. That was kind of funny. Where they just like hit him with the fucking like pulse cannon thing. And then a pretty cool one. We get to see Hanzo have a standoff with a predator.
I mean, from the second he picked up the katana inside the hideout, you knew what was going to happen, and you were not
Yeah.
disappointed when it happened.
Oh yeah.
I was slightly disappointed. Just only slightly. And this is only because of the balance of the standoffs in the entire film. I felt like the last standoff was just a touch too dramatic, and Hanzo's wasn't quite dramatic enough. Especially since the kind of fight we are having. We are having a one-on-one melee duel in the middle of a field at night. We're calling back to all sorts of samurai flicks with this scene. And it's like, you know from the beginning, like, how this is going to go down. Either the predator's going to win or they're both going to die. Like, there is no middle ground. If you know your tropes, you know your tropes.
Yeah.
And I feel like when Hanzo's standing there with the sword after he realizes, oh fuck, I killed it, I feel like he should have just gotten 1 step, 2 step, 3 fall down. Like, he should have had just that slight bit of dramatic, yay, I won, I get to walk away from this fight. But instead they have him stand there for a few seconds with like the same expression on his face and then fall down. I'm like, well, that felt anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair
Like,
enough.
I feel like I would have done it slightly differently, just because, like, if you're gonna lean into those tropes, like, really fucking lean into those tropes. Because come on.
It's like, I got it. I don't got it.
I don't got it. Like, that was my own. Even then, that's a nitpick. That's a nitpick.
So yeah, they
yeah,
get back to the
Very
camp.
good fight.
That was a good fight, yeah. So they get back to the camp. They do the my enemy and my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, we also forgot to mention that they actually have a fucking OG predator attached to a fucking totem there.
Yep.
Which they did crucify him on that thing, as is revealed in some motion comics.
Yeah. Literally crucified
Ouch.
him to it. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, feet and everything.
Okay.
Yeah. They go there.
Yeah,
Because-
they definitely had Daddy hung on a cross. Listen, you're not gonna get through a single Predator review with me on it and not hear the word Daddy.
No, I'm not.
I have a problem. It's okay.
And I'll give that same reaction every single time.
Yeah. So they let him down. They prep because the Predator is able to hack into the ship and get it up and going.
Yep.
So gets that so they can get out of there. Now, something we did neglect to bring up was that Isabel and Mombasa
Mabasa.
both knew of these creatures. They knew.
Isabella who knew about this.
Well,
Like
not
like
no.
She'd heard
like
whispers.
Mombasa can because Mombasa's pretty much the Billy insert in this movie.
Yeah.
Where like he can sense when the predator is looking at them because of his jungle sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like he has intimate knowledge of what the thing actually is.
Right.
There's stories.
They both know about the Predators tangentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Isabel knows about it through Dutch's stories and records. Basically, she knows about them on paper.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh God! Like I'm now living something I've read somewhere before. Okay, I think I know what we're dealing with, at least technically."
With Mombasa, the thing is that there's it's something that's spoken of in, because clearly there's been other run-ins with this fucking thing. With these things, like basically what the motion comics that we get, because we get 2 motion comics that give backstory of Mombasa, who I have no sympathy for, and Isabel, who I have sympathy for. And they both talk of that. Yeah, there are legends, not just from Dutch, but there are other like brought up encounters. So it's not the first time. It's not even remotely considered the first time. They pop up on occasion. It's just that most don't live to tell the tale.
Yeah, I just didn't remember that from Mombasa's motion comic specifically.
I want to say they did hint at it in that one.
Because like most of that is just like him explaining his, when he became a child soldier.
Yeah. But hers brings up that there is, it's something that's told on the winds. There are more than just Dutch's stories. She knew specifically of Dutch's stories, but that there are other tales of these things coming to Earth and doing shit and hunting people.
Which makes me wonder exactly which agency did she work for to have access to those files.
That's what I wonder.
Northside.
Because like she had access to Dutch's basically his debriefing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Having access to debrief files means you are pretty high up there in some government agency.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
Isabel, who the heck are you working for, or who did you used to work for? Like that is some intimate knowledge there, my girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the hell? And it never gets fully explained, but that's okay. Some things don't need to be explained, unlike trying to explain that fucking plant, but whatever.
Yeah.
No, I won't let it go.
Clearly.
It could have been handled so much better. That's real. There are just certain aspects where it's like, yeah, your popcorn is showing movie.
Mm-hmm.
How?
So yeah, this the fight fails.
You get some predator on predator action.
Good fight, but it is shown that it is definitely overpowered.
Yeah, I was
Well, the
really
guy-
hoping that particular fight would be longer.
The guy was
You know, I
fucking
thought that too.
crucified for who knows how much on that fucking totem.
Yeah, true.
His feet had holes. Holes.
And yeah, we get the moment of them trying to get away, and yeah, Edwin steps into a trap,
The bear
Get-
trap.
the bear trap, and he tries
And
to
then-
get their sympathy.
Yep, by pulling the biggest psychotic fuck move he could possibly pull. He pulls out the Russian guy's kid's photograph and claims they're his.
Yep,
Mhm.
puts his thumb over.
I have
Yeah,
a
he's like, I got a
family.
kid.
I have kids! And if you
Yeah.
haven't been picking up on his bullshit before this moment in the movie, this is when you really pick up on the bullshit he's been doing the entire movie. Is when he pulls this fucking move.
Yep.
And I'm just over here going like, yep, that knife is gonna come back. Yep.
Yes.
If I had doubts about it before, I don't have doubts about it now.
That is the moment it will be back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Royce is like, nah, not carrying his ass. I'm gonna go fuck off now.
Yeah.
And then Isabel and Edwin make it back to the camp because they're like, no, we're gonna fly off this planet. No.
Yeah.
They wind up in a fucking pit together. And she's like, okay, we can do this. There's still hope. There's still hope. And then slit
Yeah.
right across her chest with the fucking neurotoxin knife. And then he explains, the whole reason I'm here is because I'm a murderer who's never been caught. It's like, should have seen this coming. We all should have seen it coming way earlier than we did, but here it is.
I'll be
And
honest.
I will say-
I want to see. I want to see a movie of that, though. I want to
Of
see
that-
his
of
backstory.
Edwin's
Topher
story.
Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is like, you gotta think, like, this is 2010. Like, we have not really seen Topher very much outside of that 70s show.
Mm-hmm.
And then here he
And
is
Spider-Man.
playing this absolute pitch perfect, you know, sociopathic killer. And you're like, damn, dude, you need to play more characters like this. Seriously.
Yeah.
He was doing such a good job there at the end, and it unfortunately gets cut short because, you know, Royce, you know, grows a fucking consciousness bone, and he shoves it straight up his ass and decides to finally be a fucking hero. And I'm
Up
like,
his chin, but hey.
you know, up his chin, up his nose, up his whatever, wherever you want to shove it.
Pick your favorite orifice.
You're not nice.
I-
but I'm fast.
I real quick though. I have a hot take that I've never heard anybody say, or an interesting take.
I think.
Topher Grace may have been a bad choice. Remember, like before this, everybody had still been hitting like dogging on him because he made a horrible Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock, yes.
I think Eddie Brock was a horrible fucking choice, but you know what? Seeing this performance, I could see him playing Cletus.
Maybe if they make Cletus more like a
Cletus has
More
never
like a
been a
Jeffrey
muscle
Dahmer
bound
type.
dude. Cletus is a scrawny little bitch, and he is a serial killer.
But
what I mean is they make him more of a Jeffrey Dahmer type serial killer. I always saw Cletus as more as like your, like yeah, he's not buff as hell, but he's like the scrawny kind of redneck slasher serial killer style.
So Dahmer's a little bit more in the so it's in the comics, dude. Cletus comes off a little bit more like that, especially when you start to see his backstory, like when it's actually been explained about the shitty orphanage he lived in and everything.
Oh, Carnage.
Carnage, yes.
Yeah,
I was like,
Cletus
where the fuck is
Cassidy.
Cletus.
Cletus Cassidy. I could see him being Cletus Cassidy and then eventually Carnage.
It's okay,
There-
Varren. I'm
It might
lost
be more
too.
of an. I don't know. It seems like that backstory to me. I didn't read that as Dahmer. I read that more as like Albert Fish. Kind
Yeah,
of
maybe.
Yeah.
But I could see him being more. But yeah, no, just let him up it a little bit. I could see him being a straight up fucking serial killer character like that. You want to put him in a Spider-Man movie? Fine. Make him Cletus.
Cletus?
How about Zaz?
That's
Victor
Batman!
Zsasz. I can see him.
I know. I know. I was just taking a pic.
I could.
Taking a pic from the other aisle.
Yes,
Okay.
if you want to put him in... Okay, if you want to see him in a
Smooth
comic book
okay.
movie, yeah, make him Zaz.
Either that or like you'd have him do like if Paul Dano wasn't available for Patterson's Batman, it would probably be Topher doing that, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway,
I can
now
see
we
him
need
as
to
slimy
go,
characters like that.
Remind people again from the final battle of the first movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
get a fucking repeat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's at least it makes sense within its own continuity because Isabel explains, like, they see via infrared, they see heat.
Mhm.
And she explains how Dutch says in his debriefing that he used mud in order to cloak himself from the infrared sensors. So it makes complete sense. Does it feel a little rinse lather repeat? Yeah. Do I think they had enough mud on Adrian? No. They had to. They
not
had
at
to.
all.
No.
They didn't have enough mud. It was kind of smeared around to show off all the hard work he put into his physique, which I mean I understand.
Which apparently made him the
aesthetics-
Flash.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like,
A fist!
that was a decision. That was a decision. And for me, honestly, this fight goes on a little too long and it's a little over dramatic
Mm-hmm.
in comparison to how like some of the others needed to be a little bit more dramatic.
Mm.
Yeah, what doesn't help that I think is that fight scene in particular was very weirdly edited. 'Cause
It was.
It was.
kept-
It was.
it kept cutting at certain spots where you're like, oh, what was that? That. Like,
Yeah,
it was cutting so quick.
it was definitely some World of Sports editing going on.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
Now
No,
we're into the
no,
wacky
no,
world
no,
of footed
no.
or sports.
No, oh, because it was kind of
We're not doing the whole thing where
Right.
we're cutting away literally when the punch lands.
okay, but it was close. It was close, especially with all the running around. It's like, okay, you're cutting in a way to try to make us feel disoriented, but it's like, it's less disoriented and more like, what the fuck just happened? Like that doesn't physically make sense.
It felt like they didn't spend money for a choreographer.
No, it really did not feel like they spent that money at all for that.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we can make this work in post.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. We'll make it work in
It's a ridiculous
post.
movie. I'm surprised he didn't do it himself.
Right.
I mean, there is still a lot of good stunt work happening, but this is a different beast.
Mm-hmm.
No, I feel like the actors involved did a great job with it. It was just editing and it went on a little too long, and again, it needed more mud. But
More mud.
no,
Never
overall
really.
it ends on a banger. Royce wins. He finally tells Isabel his name, and because you don't hear it until the end. And I think my favorite part about this movie really is the ending. The fact that they are both just beaten to hell. They're the only two left alive because Edwin, of course, gets found out and gets killed real quick.
Yeah.
And so like they're both just kind of stumbling and they see a new shipment of people being dropped onto the planet and they're like, all right, we lost the ship, we lost the entire crew, it's just us now we have to figure out a way to get the fuck off of here. And unlike him saying like he wouldn't carry Edwin when he was injured, he's carrying injured Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that's growth. That's
Yeah.
we get what we need to get out of it. And the ending is left completely ambiguous as to whether they survive or not, or whether they get off the fucking planet or not. Which I think is perfect.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Yeah, no. So I think
Yeah,
overall, film's fine.
Yeah, that ending is
Mhm.
also like a bit different in the from what I remember from the Dark Horse comic adaptation, where like they're actually able to like get Isabella off the planet, but then Adrian Brody's character stays behind because he's too far gone, man.
Okay.
That was probably from an earlier one of the script, because that's what
Yeah.
happens with like.
Yeah.
tie-ins
Also,
and things
apparently,
like that.
he fights like a 4-armed Yakuza in that story. So it's like, what the fuck?
Since
Is it
fucking-
okay?
What? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
forearm Yocha, it's in there. It's forearm Yocha.
The comics
I didn't know
are the comics operate on their own logic.
As I've said, space is warped and time is bendable with this fucking
Bendable, so
They
franchise.
became
sometimes.
fucking Shokin. Okay, good to know.
I was about to say Shokan.
Yeah, fucking, they fucking, Predator fucked a Shokin. Okay, yeah, or maybe the other way around. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, it makes sense. MKX, so it's canon now, I guess.
Yeah, I'm looking through
Yeah.
this cast, and there is no fight choreographer in this.
Mm.
I figured, yeah.
Because they only have the stunt coordinator then.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no. Overall, I'd say the film is all right. It's a nice little popcorn flick.
It's a movie for people who want to watch like one of those death game types films, but on the lighter side,
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Yeah.
not as grim or as serious as that. It's
Right.
like a death game plus 80s action, and you just smash them together, and that's exactly what this film is.
It's
cute.
cute,
feel like-
but for the claustrophobic.
Yeah, I feel like it's a weird middle ground between like
I
on the
love Cube.
lightest side of the end is like Hunger Games, on the darker side of the end it'd be like Battle Royale or something, and then this is like right in the middle.
I think this is more near Turkey shoot than Battle Royale, than in the middle.
I can see that too.
Without the political.
Yeah, because it's not the most dangerous game levels.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Mm. But instead of
Yeah.
like 3 twisted humans, you have 3 twisted Yakuza.
Yeah.
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 And
Okay.
Yeah.
as I said, like I also think this movie is perfectly fine. As I said, like my biggest problem just with this movie is just that it is so beholden to the original, where we have so many goddamn callbacks, even to the point where I'm pretty sure they just used sound clips from Bill Duke, where it said like the "over here, turn around" when the
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
swear to
Lawrence
God,
Fishburne's
yeah.
character shows
Yeah,
up. Like
it's
I'm,
the
I'm
most-
damn sure it's fucking just Bill Duke sound clips that just put in there.
Yeah, but it's Robert Rodriguez. Like, God bless him, the man knows how to save money, but he can also be a weirdly lazy bastard when it comes to saving money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
See his kids' movies.
True.
yeah.
True.
But yeah, like again, like we've talked about some of the things already. But like they also did, call back to the shootout in the jungle, and hell, even over the end, the credit song that is used is fucking
the
is the
invasion
Little
song.
Richard song. The Little Richard song
Yeah.
was played in the original movie
Mhm.
when they were in the helicopter. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
as
Fair
I,
enough.
as I said,
It's
it becomes a crutch at that point.
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of the most 7 out of 10 fanfic for Predator, I think. Like.
Yeah, this is another case where, yeah, that is something I've called it before, and I forgot about that. That I had always, when people would ask me about it, I referred to it as like, oh yeah, it's great fan fiction that was given a budget, but again, great fan fiction. It's not the worst thing. God,
Yes.
worse fan fiction has been given budgets. But
Oh yeah. This for me standing on its own is a solid 7.5. I would watch it again.
Mhm.
I'm still gonna have my gripes, but if anything, my gripes kind of make it more fun for myself.
The plan.
It's riffing material, yeah.
It's very much riffing material.
Mhm.
We're not talking Manos Hands of Fate level riffing, but still riffing.
Like mid-level riff tracks, yeah.
Like it's no Covenant, it's no The Predator. It's definitely got substance.
So,
We'll get to that.
do we have any other thoughts that we want to share, or should we wrap this up?
Uh,
We're good.
It's a nice summer, not nice summer, nice Sunday viewing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
definitely a
on-
Sunday flick. Yeah.
It's a Sunday movie. Yeah, you can have it on while you're doing your chores, making you some lunch. You
Pop a
know,
beer or
pop
two.
a beer. You just hang out,
Cover yourself in
Yeah.
mud.
cover yourself in mud. You know, maybe camp out with your fellow brothers outside, hunt something. You know, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Grave, anything you want to add?
I think we said everything.
All right. Then, I guess with all of that said, Xeiren, where can people find you?
Xeiren. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Threads and Twitter and Blue Sky. Trying to get back into YouTube stuff, but I'm also completely swamped at the moment. Working on a movie with some friends that it's going to be start filming this winter, and yeah, it's going to be insane. So if I'm not on my socials as much, you know why.
Mhm. Fair. Varren.
You can find me over on twitch.tv/VarrenKimmel, where every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, you can see me play all kinds of fun games. Mondays are RPGs with, the red-haired menace over here. Wednesdays, strategy shooter, something else with an S. And Fridays, I play whatever the hell I can find. Just don't bare your fangs at me like that. Hey now. You can also find me. Stop it! Don't make me get the garlic
No,
out.
to here.
I love garlic.
Curses foiled again. Anyway,
Walker?
you can also find me over on
Hey,
Blue
Walker.
Sky at Varren Kimbold. You can also find me over on YouTube for stream and VODs of the stream VODs and compilations of the streams. If you want to indulge my OC content I do every now and then, you can find that over on TikTok at Varren Kimbold. And I still have my Twitter around, but just be warned, I do whatever the fuck I want on there. But search Varren Kimbold, you're bound to stumble on me somewhere.
Excellent. Grave, where is the turtle today?
I'm preparing picnic dinners to drop onto the Predator planet.
That is precious.
That is.
Downright precious.
Now I just imagine a little turtle like just dropping huge chunks of beef down onto a plane or down off a
Oh
plane.
no.
Just tossing slabs.
I was suddenly reminded of that Robin Williams joke. It's like we provided aid to this particular area of the world, but the problem is that the food came in little yellow packages. Bombs also came in little yellow packages. It's like I'm feeling lucky today. Which one is it?
Excellent. Roy.
You can find me here in Wolf's Den Productions over in this little area right here called the Starlight. Your home. We got rare, obscure, hard to find features. We also do the Red Light Podcast. Your home video is our horror. You can find me on X, capital R, capital L, capital P, Starlight. Send some recommendations, some commendations. Say hello. You got some love mail, some hate mail, some more dangerous game mail, some jungle mail, some Yaocha mail, some Dark Horse Comics mail. Send it to Starlight Podcast at protonmail.com. I also work on Critic List with reviews and lists. I'm working on a big list right now. That's why you don't see very much. We do little Starlight reviews over at Critic List, me and Doc. But I do some stuff there. Say hello. Tell me you like my reviews and recommendations. I'd love to hear from you. That's it.
Doc?
Outside of this madness here on Wolf's Den Productions, you can also find me at Over the Years podcast here on Wolf's Den Productions, where I take Roy through a decade plus of rap music. Mostly because poor bastard was in a coma since 2010 somehow.
I was.
Outside of that, you can also find me on Critic Lists under the name Chaotic Doctor, where I've done reviews and lists, including reviewing another sci-fi classic. Fucking Stargate. Anyway.
He's catching hell.
Outside of all that, that's it.
All right. And you can, of course, find me here on YouTube and Podbean, Wolfston Productions. From goofy-ass anime to the shocking horror, Wolfston Productions, your #1 stop for equally nerdy reviews of nerdy media. You can also find me over on Twitter under Mistress. That is Mistress Ookami, Ookami. That's my name. Don't wear it out. And if you're feeling extra generous, head on over to the Wolfston Patreon, where you can get access to episodes that may or may not drop to the general public, episodes that most certainly will not be dropping to the general public, behind the scenes, all sorts of goodies, all for just a measly $1 a month. Remember, folks, $1 a month can go a long, long way. And until next time, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we continue our journey through the Alien and Predator franchise with a look at the origin of the Xenomorphs. It's 2012's Prometheus. A lot of things happened in 2012. Not all of them great.
Hey, Ben, question. How strong is the booze you got?
Mine's
Not-
strong enough, but you need to get your own.
Not strong enough.
Not touching my booze.
Nope.
I'm not close to West Virginia, man. I can't get the moonshine that's basically drinking gasoline.
Sorry, the gasoline's mine. I own the gasoline.
The gasoline.
Yeah, join us for Prometheus as we continue the fall of the hunt. Good night, everybody.
Hey, Ookami,
Woof.
let's have some fun tonight.